Hey, good afternoon. This is Christy here. I wanted to get on today just real quick and talk a little bit more about what I was kind of talking about yesterday with NDE that I experienced. And NDE, for those of you that don't know, is a near-death experience. And one of the things that I noticed and kind of had a conversation about with Spirit was that NDEs are not what they appear, that it is another way of basically messing with our minds, and they can program information into the field, right? So we know this is true because they do it all the time. And you know who they is, so I'm not going to go through any of that, but right, they program the field around you, they program your brain, right? We've all been programmed since we were brought onto the planet, and the field of information, because that's what's in the field is information, can be programmed also. So one of the things that they told us is that, you know, you can have a near-death experience, and what I was shown was that wasn't a near-death experience. And a friend of mine called it my transformational event. So I was like, I'm going to go with that for now, because that's quite lovely, a transformational event. But what I was shown was that the near-death experience is not a near-death experience. If it's a true near-death experience, the way people talk about it, you didn't come near death. You died for however long it was, right? So there's ranges of time, and then you have all the information that tells you, you know, you're out of the ordinary if you've been gone for so long and then are brought back or come back. And so I guess that's kind of where my scenario lies, is that I was, from what I'm understanding, anywhere between 10 and quite a bit longer is what the fire captain said. It was quite a bit longer than that, but that's what I was told in the hospital was 10 minutes. So it wasn't a near-death experience. It was a death experience. And people will argue about, you know, maybe your brain wasn't quite dead yet, or this wasn't, or that wasn't, whatever. But if you've left your body, and you recognize you've left your body, and you can stay conscious through the leaving and move around and kind of do what you want to do, you could complete your, what we consider life in this period of time. You could complete it, right? So you would go from what we consider being born through the death part of it and into your what's next. And that would be a full death experience, right? So near death means you came close to dying, but you didn't quite. What I was told was that's a death experience with a resurrection. That's all I can do is laugh. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit shaky. Today's been a little bit rough. I've had a rough day today. Very emotional today for some reason. I don't know if it's the weather or the work that my acupuncturist is doing. Probably has a lot to do with it. But so death experience with a resurrection. And it's a difference in the way your mind reads it, right? So the information that you have in your brain when you say near-death experience will give you one concept of whatever that is. But if you say it was a death experience and I was resurrected, I was brought back, it gives you a whole different point of view. It gives you a whole different reference. So it's interesting. And it feels different, right? The information of the field that comes to you when you use either expression is different. And I would just say, especially if you've had if you consider yourself to have had an NDE or have had experience in any way, shape, or form with this kind of stuff, literally have had experience, I would say both and feel it. Notice what the difference is. We know with words that have been swapped out and switched and the meaning has been altered, that you can feel the resonant energy of the truth of a word when you have the right word, right? So I'm going to use the word repent because everybody knows that word, and it just feels nasty. I have never talked to a person and had them say the word repent and go, yeah, that feels great. It just doesn't, right? So it's one of those words that was translated wrongly, probably intentionally, and gave us information about ourselves and what we should and shouldn't do and how we should and shouldn't act. Like, it paints a whole huge picture. Basically that you're not good enough and you never will be, and you need to keep repenting and, right, blah, 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 blah. We all know the story. The real word is metanoia. That's the word in the text. And metanoia has nothing to do with what we were taught repent is. It simply means open your mind. Open your mind. That's it. So if you say metanoia and you feel it inside your heart, feel it inside your body, just notice. Notice what it feels like. And then say repent, feel that, and don't go along with my expressions on it, because I have not had a good experience with organized religion for the most part. But I would say near-death experience and recognizing that you had a death experience and a resurrection, or you were brought back. Call it however you would say it, right? Use your words. But be true to yourself about what it was. I didn't come near death. I was dead. They had to do something to bring me back. Right? I had stopped breathing. My lungs were not functioning. In fact, they were both collapsed, and my heart stopped. Right? So feel the difference. And I would say do this with all kinds of stuff. Find words and then find the, maybe the old word, the old language. Go through those and find the alternate words that were used and understand what those really meant. Feel the difference, because I think this whole idea, this whole concept of near-death experiences is part of the New Age kind of philosophy that was put into our system through programming. We were programmed to believe some of the stuff that we believe, for sure. Like, absolutely we were. About who we are, what we can do, how powerful we can be. Absolutely programmed, right? So in trying to find out what you really are and who you really are, you have to start feeling inside of you when you use some of these words, and then asking your spirit questions. What is that? How do I handle this? What do I do with it? Why does it feel this way? Where did this information come from? Is this truly me? Does this have anything to do with me? Like, ask questions all the time. Seek information from inside of you, from inside that place, inside your heart. And you'll find a whole different response. And so my transformational experience was a death, and I was brought back. I was resurrected. And that gives a whole different meaning to it than if I had a near-death experience and went through whatever normally people seem to think they go through. And whatever their experience is. I'm not knocking anybody's experience. You own your experience. I think it's wonderful. But that was my experience, was that's another one of the lies we've been told. And if you can learn how to control that energy of staying conscious even in death, right? This is, I think it's Taoism or Taoism. I've been reading the Tibetan Book of the Dead, because it's not a book about death, it's a book about life, right? When you're born, did you come to life? Or were you born here to die? It's an interesting question. All right, I will bless you. Comment below with any comments, ideas, thoughts. and we will be talking to you again soon. Please like and subscribe.